Okay, we are now live, and I'm gonna take a second here to tweet out the link to this stream, and then I'm going to crack me open a cold one, pour it into a frosted glass, and then we can get started on this newscast. I tried to shop around a little bit. I just got back from the movies, but I tried to shop around a little bit to see if anyone was around. But apparently nobody is, so it's just going to be just me going on this one for today. So let me tweet out the link to the stream. Twitter. It is. Okay. So let me crack open that cold one and we'll get started. Do some fucking marketing for you right here. Oh yeah. Fucking Labatt Blue, get in contact with me. Send me an email. You need to start fucking sponsoring these streams. It's pretty funny because I've actually been experimenting with a whole litany of beers. And I do have some beers that I prefer over others. But it's kind of amazing that out of all the beers that I've tried, and I've legitimately tried, tasting them to see, what do I actually prefer, Labatt Blue is still number one. And it's just kind of funny because that's the local beer of my area. It's just kind of weirdly nativistic, I guess, that I like the native beer of this area. I also really like Tim Hortons, which is in large part the local coffee of this area. And it's systematically putting out Dunkin' Donuts out of business. And that's fine by me because Dunkin' Donuts sucks. Tim Hortons is just a superior brand despite Burger King buying them out. Okay, let me refresh this page and we'll get going. Okay. Okay, we're good then. Yeah, I'm sure at this point, I don't think I'm actually the only stream going currently as far as who I'm subscribed to. I know Appaben just stopped a stream. I think there's some other stream going on, and then some black guy's doing a stream, so I don't really expect too much of a turnout on this one. But this is the only time that I got to do it, and fuck everybody else. Your streams are fucking nothing but drama garbage. That people say to me, oh, you need to go on this stream. It's like, no, it's all drama shit. No thanks. No thanks. I'd like to actually talk about things. You know, I like to try to be mildly entertaining outside of people screaming at one another autistically and then pointing their finger at me and calling me autistic. Yeah. Come debate this alt-right guy where all we do is scream at each other. Wow, that sounds fucking worthwhile. I think I said that to somebody. Somebody's like, oh, I want you to debate me. I said, I told them, pay me $1,000. That'll debate you. Because it's nothing more than drama bullshit. It really is. It's nothing more than drama bullshit. Dick-wagging nonsense. Naked Ape actually put out a video for the first time in months today. And apparently somebody took it down, which obviously is wrong of them to do, whoever did it. But it was nothing more than dick-wagging. It was just one long ad hominem. And that's fine. Like, I watched it. I laughed a few times during it. But it was kind of worthless. And I was like, well, that's unfortunate. You know, I'm fine with if that's what Naked Ape wants to do, then that's his channel. He can do whatever he wants with it. But it was nothing more than dick wagging. You know, calling people out by name and just insulting them. And it really does strike me as just more drama bullshit. So why would I exactly participate in that? Unless you fucking pay me. If you want me to show up, even though I'm a nobody, $1,000. That's the price. Pay me $1,000, I'll show up. And we could talk about fucking whatever, but I'm not I'm not going to be participating in any retard streams of people screaming at one another, because there's been a few in the last few days. One of which had Baked Alaska, Laura Loomer, Worski, and Jim was in it too, and it was just retarded autistic screaming the whole time. It's just like, wow, this is great. This is great. This is what YouTube is turning into, where people are just screaming at each other and then pointing their finger at me saying, oh man, you need to kiss the ring. Go kiss the ring of Sardon. It's like, yeah, you and a few other people are jumping from stream to stream where all you do is scream at one another. It's fucking lame. But I'll just leave it there. I'm not sure what's going on, but there's a lot of that right now. There's a lot of just endless streaming and people screaming. And it's really fucking lame. It really is. So I will screen share and we will get right into it. So we actually have quite a bit to get through. I don't really know how serious I'm going to take it because, you know, most of this by now is kind of old, and it's because I haven't had time to really stream. I'm behind the times and when it comes to the news. Some of these articles are going to reappear in a video I have planned for this month, although no promises it gets done because I'm currently behind because of my job. I expected to have a little bit more time off this week. They actually had 2 days for me that were scheduled off, and I was like, fuck yeah, 2 days off? You know, I'll take that and work on the video, but then out of nowhere, they just added on 8-hour cases, and they were like an hour and a half away, and it's just like, oh God, like, give me a break. So this week hasn't been very productive for me, but I got a decent commentary recorded today that I'm going to try to work with. So we'll get right into it. So the video that I plan on working on relates to several articles that I have listed here. And one of the things that conservatives, and for any of you that are listening to this that are conservatives, you need to basically defoo yourself of the idea of it's a private company, it can do whatever it wants. Because one of the things that I'm going to have to spend time on in that video is trying to convince conservatives to stop worshiping capitalism. Stop thinking that anything the market produces is the right thing. And if the market is actively trying to oppress, by my standard, conservatives, maybe conservatives should change their ideology to reflect reality, that the private sector can oppress you. Because I've been aware of that for a very long time. For a very long time now, I've been very knowledgeable about the fact that the private sector, if it sees you as its enemy, will use its resources to suppress you. This is not news to me, but for a lot of conservatives, this is something that they are ideologically incapable of understanding. And I'm not saying that to say, oh, conservatives are fucking retarded. No, I mean, really intelligent people are intellectually incapable of understanding that. They literally cannot square that circle in their own mind because they have their ideological lens fastened over their eyes. It's like trying to talk to an anarcho-capitalist about taxation. The minute you start talking about that, they just shut down. It's like, oh, there's no legitimacy to taxation. And then that's it. It's as far as you can go. So it's like talking to somebody that is so ideologically schizophrenic, or not schizophrenic, but absolutist. That's the better word I can use for this. They're so ideologically absolutist that you literally have to try your best to say, listen, I'm trying to be genuine with you. Please hold my hand, please, and come with me so I can show you that you could possibly be wrong about this. That someone outside of your ideological faction could possibly be even slightly right about this issue. That if you allow the free market to just do whatever it fucking wants, and government regulation is inherently evil and unjustifiable, that maybe sometimes it could be then turned against you and used to oppress you. You know, I don't know what I have to do, but I'm going to try my best to make the case in that video. It's only going to be a portion of the video. I may split immigration into its own fucking video because I think that conservatives on immigration are half right. They're half right in that if you limit immigration, it will ultimately help the working class. They are right about that. But one of the things they're going to have to deal with is once you start limiting immigration, the corporations are going to go fucking insane because cheap labor is essential to cutting costs. And if you limit labor and you force them to pay employees more and you force them to create better work conditions and you force them to compete in a smaller labor pool, they will flip the fuck out. So get ready, conservatives, because eventually you're going to have to choose. If you get your way and they build the wall and yada, yada, you're going to have to choose because eventually the corporations are going to turn around and they're going to say, no, open the fucking borders. You're the anti-capitalist. You don't want to create growth in America, blah, blah, blah. Open the borders. And conservatives are going to be sitting there like, I don't know what to do. I worship the almighty dollar. I don't know what to do. I can already see it. Because there is this dogmatic belief that whatever the market produces is the right thing. And it's just an ideological bias. So, yeah, this is one article. Google is actively going after conservatives and censoring them. Surprise. Let's see here. No, it's not the article. Where is the article I want? Here. And here's another article that I'm going to be mentioning. Google is an ideologically motivated company from top to bottom. And it is openly and illegally discriminating against conservatives and whites. So this is an incredibly profitable corporation. This is an incredibly large corporation in America. This is an incredibly powerful corporation in terms of politics. It has direct ties and relations to the U.S. government. This company doesn't just exist because the government bailed it out, okay? This company is self-sustaining despite its ideological insanity. So conservatives, what do you now do? What do you do? You have this company that's discriminating against men, violating the law, brazenly trying to do their best to oppress conservatives and whites in America, the country in which you live. I don't know what to do. If I'm in your position, I don't know. It's an oppressive force. What do you do? I already have an answer. But with conservatives, it is like watching a kid like looking at that puzzle with a triangle hole, a square hole, and a circle hole, and it's the kid's looking at the pegs, and it's like, Jesus Christ, what do I do? I don't know what to do. It's pathetic. And honestly, and I don't, this sounds incredibly patronizing, it's patronizing. The reason why is because there are so many conservatives that just fall in lockstep. I saw it was Mike Lee, and I'm going to use this video in that video where I talk about conservatives and why I'm not a conservative. It's so emblematic of the problem where Tucker is one of the very few people that understands the issue. And his line is, and it's right. He's right in this. He goes, I was a libertarian until Google. That's his line. And that's right. That is how you actually maintain some consistency in terms of actually understanding reality as it is. You have to make sure that your ideological beliefs, you can hold ideological beliefs, that's fine, but it must reflect reality. If reality changes, so must your ideology. If a force that you believe is inherently good is now turning to oppress you, you must change your position. You can't maintain that corporations can do no wrong, and yet corporations like multi-billion-dollar fucking massively powerful controls all information Google is now actively trying to oppress you. You can't just say, no, it can do whatever it wants. What do you want me to do then? You know, I'm here warning you, speaking out, saying, hello, conservatives. Hello, conservatives. Here's an example of a corporation, a massive multinational conglomerate preparing to fuck you in the ass. And I'm one of very few people that even cares. Conservatives just sit there and say, well, we'll just find a competitor. We'll find a competitor to Google. Oh, is that what you're going to do? Oh, man, I can't wait for that to happen. Conservative Google. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Like, I know I am coming off really strong, but like, you have to understand that there are so few conservatives that are rightly afraid of this. Like, Mike Lee is just sitting there with his thumb up his ass, and he's a politician. He's somebody in Congress. And he's sitting there, and it's like, no, it's a private corporation that could do whatever it wants. And it's just like, oh my God, you're done. You're done. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? It's like, okay, here comes this massive bulldozer. It's like Austin Powers with a bulldozer. And conservatives are the fucking security guards screaming stop at the bulldozer. And I'm trying to convince the guy to get the fuck out of the way. Get out of the way of the bulldozer. Get out of the way and we can stop it. We can work together to stop the bulldozer, but you're just sitting there screaming, stop! Oh, man. I just saw somebody in chat say Mike Lee's better than most. Oh my God. Mike Lee is great as a conservative. Stop the bulldozer. Don't run me over. Let's gotta do it. Okay. Mike Lee's great conservative. Oh man. Oh shit. Okay. I think I have one more article here about, is there another one here? Oh yeah, well this is somewhat related to it. So this is by Chadwick Moore from Milo Site Dangerous. Let me get to this. So this is something that is actually inferred in what was said in the Project Veritas videos, which if you aren't familiar, we're not really going to go through that here. But with this article, the age in which you can join Twitter legally in terms of their term of service is 13 years old. So there are a lot of teenagers, meaning people under the legal age of consent, on Twitter. And part of the Project Veritas videos that has come out is that these people store images on their servers, their local servers. So what is going to definitely be real is that in the DMs of Twitter users that are underage, there will be nude images. There will be nude images in those DMs. They will be saved to the local servers of Twitter. So Twitter is, because of its age standard of being 13 and not 17, they very likely are storing images that they can gain access to pornography. And I'm not sure of the actual legal standing that exists as it relates to this, but it definitely exists. This is definitely something that exists because they say in this specifically that they have access to DMs. They have the images in DMs on local servers, and they can directly access them. That will include child pornography. So I just thought I would bring this up just so when we're talking about a private corporation that can do whatever it wants, I guess that also includes child porn. Oh, the free market. Don't you just love it? All right. Voice of Reason says Ben Shapiro is a walking, talking punchline regarding conservatives. He is. If you set him up in terms of like what he actually believes and holds to, you'll find out that he pretty much is a neocon. The best way that I could describe him. He really doesn't break away from the, okay, well, I'll sell you a flag to wave. I'll sell you Jesus. Yeah, okay, yeah, good, Christ. Oh, let's talk about abortion. I'm against abortion, but also corporatism and fucking trade deals and all the rest. Don't ever question that, or else you're an anti-capitalist. And politics is just fine. We need more money in politics. Okay, that's free speech. So bribery isn't a thing. I said this to a few people, including Sargon the other day, that the more I hear of Ben Shapiro, the less I like him. Literally, the more I listen to him, the less I like him. I've listened to him, and I've heard him make good points. I'm not saying that he's not intelligent in that. Like, I think a lot of people misconstrue what I say. But I don't think he's unintelligent. I think that if him and I got in a debate, because I don't know the tactics well enough, I'd get stomped by him. But he's hypocritical on a number of issues. Somebody just mentioned Israel. He is hypocritical on Israel. He is pro open borders. So for any of you listening to this that are very nationalistic, who think, oh man, we need to lower immigration, and I'm sitting there saying, hey, I'm not on the right. I'm not a conservative. I do think we should cut down on immigration too. We should keep law and order as the prime example of how we run this country. And you're sitting there and you say, yeah, I agree with this guy on the left. Ben Shapiro doesn't agree with either one of us. He is a quote unquote libertarian on immigration, which means he favors open borders. Why? Cheap labor. Cheap labor. Why does Ben Shapiro want open borders, libertarian quote unquote borders? Cheap labor. And I don't know how, and I'm going to get into it when I make that video on immigration. I am not in favor of just sucking the cock of investors. I don't give a shit what investors want. I don't care. I want what is best for 99% of people in this country. If some shareholders get some smaller dividends, they get less return on their investment, that's fine. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. They're still going to invest here. This is still the biggest market in the world. I don't care if investors get a little bit less in their dividend every quarter, whatever. I don't fucking care. But Ben Shapiro cares. Oh man, the investors and what they want, that is paramount. Empty capitalism, empty consumerism in the United States. Oh, that's just going to lead us to the fucking promised land. Where are we now? Where are we now, ladies and gentlemen? Where has empty consumerism led this country? Oh, that's right. Depolarization. People arguing against citizenship. People arguing in favor of voting rights for non-citizens. Massive, widespread corruption in the federal government. Deep destabilization. That's where we've gone because of this. Okay? Globalization has consequences. And yet it seems to me that the only fucking people that want to even discuss it in any way that's not just, oh, you're an anti-capitalist fucking demonization. The only people that want to discuss it are a fringe on the right and a fringe, a fucking, just I don't even know a nanomole, so to say, on the left. That's it. Everyone else just wants to suck the dick of corporations and think that that's somehow going to make a better country. Yeah, TK Mao, TK, who just said that in Super Chat. Yes. And I have that fucking video, bro. And I'm going to play it and maybe do it more than once and repeat it to say that even Bernie Sanders, who everyone says is a socialist, and I know that he's going hard on fucking DACA right now. I get it. It's mainly political in that case. But even Bernie Sanders, who everyone on the right wants to say is a fucking socialist and oh, fuck him. No, guess who's against open borders because he recognizes it as a class issue. Bernie fucking Sanders, the guy everyone wants to write off, is in agreement that this mass amount of immigration we've been having for decades is not good for the country. Bernie Sanders understands that. But Ben Shapiro wants the opposite. So people want to point their fucking finger at the left all day and night. By all means, you're right to do it. But guess fucking what? As I'm going to say in that video, the right needs to look in the fucking mirror. They really do. Because while they're pointing their finger endlessly at the left, the right wing are passing policies and granting fucking amnesty. You know, like you can't just sit there and say that this is all the left. Yeah, the left is going crazy. Sure, but it's been crazy for how many years now? The right just goes along with it. You know, I don't know what to say to people. They just want to point fingers and say, oh, that guy's a leftist. It's like, yeah, but what are you doing at the same time? People on the right also need to be held accountable. And there's far less people talking about that. Far less. It's a lot easier to point at some retard screaming into the sky over Trump. A lot easier to talk about that person than it is to actually discuss how many people on the right that are conservatives that are in favor of mass immigration into America. There are many conservatives that believe that. Many mainstream thought leaders that still believe that. That is deep within American conservatism. You can't just pin this all on the left. That is completely intellectually dishonest to do. If you want to say the left is going crazy on citizenship and, you know, disregarding that, absolutely. But the people that want to bring in cheap labor aren't just on the fucking left. It also includes a huge amount of the right. And I know that there are, like I said, there are people on the right that are talking about this, but we'll get into it. But fucking Tucker Carlson, who's been talking about this, he just got smeared as a fucking white supremacist by a whole bunch of different journalists. They're outright calling him now a white supremacist, that he wants an ethno-state because he's even discussing the issue of citizenship. So, you know, don't point your finger at me and say the left, because there are people out there that see Tucker and say, oh, he's breaking with orthodoxy, that capitalism is our god and master, so fuck him. He's no longer a conservative. He's out of the club. It's not me doing that. It's fellow conservatives doing that, throwing him under the bus because he's actually being very serious about the issue. So I see way too much of people pointing out, oh, here's this retard screaming at the sky, and yet completely avoiding the hard fact that there are a lot of conservatives that back this. They're just being very quiet. So we'll move on to this really quick because it's kind of a side thing. But I saw this story, and this was during when the Iran protests were going on, and I think it's now over with. They're no longer protesting. The government there finally cracked down. And I'm sure many of you won't remember this guy, but I remember him when I was young. Because I remember George W. Bush talking about this guy all the time and saying, oh, Muhammad or Mahum, whatever the fuck. Ahmadinejad was like a big baddie in Iran, and he was supposedly like a very conservative leader under the Ayatollah, and he got replaced by the guy with the white beard and the white hat. This guy served a couple terms until finally he got like forced out because he became unpopular with the regime. Well, he was just arrested. Obviously, this is early in the month. He was arrested by the regime. So it's actually pretty surprising, in my opinion. You know, I didn't realize that this guy was actually still like a major politician and was like a shit stirrer in Iran. But apparently he was an enemy of the existing regime there. And I don't really know from what angle, whether he was more secular or I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what his politics were for him to become like an enemy. And maybe it says it here and I didn't read it. But they were calling him like a revolutionary. And it's like, wow, like, I can't believe that this guy who Bush made out to be the boogeyman was actually some kind of reformer to some extent, or maybe just cynical and trying to gain power in Iran. But I was actually surprised to see this guy arrested, but he was. And I believe that's where he still remains, is incarcerated. Mahmoud? Mahmoud. Yeah, okay. Thanks, chat. So let's I don't really know how many so yeah, okay, I guess we'll move on to the shithole story. So I'm sure everyone here has heard of this story. This happened was it a week or so ago? I can't even remember at this point. I think a little bit more. But Trump, in a closed door meeting with conservatives and Democrats, I believe, in Congress, we're talking about you know, they're trying to come up with an immigration deal. And during the meeting, according to partisan people, and it's been contradicted whether he said this or not, but Trump supposedly made the comment that countries such as Haiti or other African nations, or oh god, what was the other one? It's the one with the MS-13, El Salvador, I think. Was it El Salvador? I can't remember. But yeah, he was with a couple other Democrats and some Republicans, and at first they said the White House didn't deny it, and I actually looked for that, and there was a statement about just immigration, and they don't actually comment on this. But later on, the White House did deny the comments. So I think this was actually the press. Excuse me. The press being the press, in terms of him not denying it up front. But the thing is that I actually like this comment, and I'm sure many of you that actually like Trump like this comment, because it's actually how I have, and I'm sure if you guys go back and listen to my previous streams and commentaries, I have said this exact comment about third world nations, China, etc. I've said they are shithole nations, because they are. You know, that is the accurate word to describe them, because they are either impoverished or corrupt or totalitarian. You know, there are many ways to just summarize all those details as illiberal and un-American and all the rest. But calling it a shithole is just being derogatory towards those nations, rightly, because they are less than the United States. So this comment, whether he made it or not, was something that was basically a nuclear detonation of the bourgeois social norms of so many fucking establishment beltway figures. And what was funny about this was not just all the people on the left that went crazy, but how many Republicans threw Trump under the bus over something they couldn't even prove he said. There were so many Republicans that just came down on Trump like a ton of bricks. And it's just funny to me to watch that and just laugh and just like, oh my God, the fucking like conservatives in the United States, or maybe I should say Republicans, are so fucking cucked. You know, this is such a fucking establishment thing of like, Trump says the word shithole to describe bad nations, and all the fucking bourgeois faggots in this country just go, oh my God, oh, that's so mean, Trump. Like, they just get so fucking mad. And people went insane over this comments. And I'm getting to this sooner, but there was just this deluge of fucking articles about how everyone was so mad I'm just like, oh my God, they're going on television. My bourgeois social norms are so violated. I'm so angry, Trump. 2 scoops. They're so angry. And it's over nothing. It's over one word that they can't even prove he said. They can't even prove that he said the word shithole, even though it is accurate. And what's funny is that if he did say that, that is such a working class description of those nations. Like the charm that Bush had, George W. Bush, the charm that he did have, this is actually Trump's charm. Like, I still don't like Trump. I don't like him. There are a lot of things about him I don't like. But it's like every once in a while, he'll just, allegedly in this case, throw out a comment that makes you laugh because it's honest and it's true. And people just get so fucking angry about that. And I've talked to Sargon about this before, and that's his favorite thing about Trump is moments like this where he says something that just makes everyone insane. And I don't know if this is just the natural reaction of the bourgeois political class, or if this is an actual oh God, what is it? It's not a talking point, but it's a political strategy of certain people that don't like him to choose one label, choose one thrust, and then stick with it and see what happens. Because if it works, then they fucking double down and they go for it. And if it doesn't, eventually they back away. And so what they did, there's one article here that I laughed for at least 2 solid minutes when I fucking read it. And it actually is accurate. But it just basically said, like, this is what Trumpism is. Trump's isn't incidental to his political appeal. It's the core of it. So what you're saying is that the Electoral College, the states responsible for his election, are just filled to the brim with racists. There's so many racists out there that just are just like, yeah, when Trump says shithole, what he means is those niggers. What Trump means, he means those goddamn niggers. And that's all I care about. I'm a black person in Erie that actually voted for Trump. He's talking about those niggers. Because he won all these different places that aren't actually they aren't all just pure white blocks. Trump actually did win a lot of black and Hispanic votes, despite night and day these people calling him a racist. The whole campaign, them calling him misogynist and a racist. And yet it's like, yeah, we'll just say that's the whole appeal of him is his racism. When all he did was describe El Salvador and a couple other nations allegedly as shitholes. When they are shitholes. It's not like he called Japan or Germany or the UK a shithole. No, he called third world nations shithole countries. Oh my God. So you have Dianne Feinstein, who went as far to say, because of this comment, that this is Trump actively campaigning for a homogenous white society, and that he set the country back by generations when they can't even prove he said this. But no, he set the country back by generations because he said shithole. Not, I'm Donald J. Trump, fuck niggers. No, it's because he said these third world shithole countries are shithole countries. Like, this is what I mean. Like, they went insane over this. We'll get to the one that made me laugh for 2 solid minutes. This is not the article we want to get to yet. And like I said, that includes many conservatives. What's amazing is that once upon a time, I actually liked Michael Steele to some degree. Michael Steele, who's the former Head of the GOP. He actually struck me as someone that was decently intelligent. I saw him a few times, probably back in, I don't know, 09, 10, 2010. And he actually struck me as reasonably intelligent, but it appears that he's become a full-blown hack. He's become what's that guy's name? Frump? Or excuse me, God, what's that guy's name? I can't remember. He's a conservative commentator who just constantly shits on Trump. I know that doesn't narrow it down, but just nonstop, like, oh, he's a racist. He's a fucking racist. It's like, you know, the evidence isn't it incontrovertible, not controvertible? Yeah, it's incontrovertible. Fucking moron. Jesus. The evidence is controvertible. So it can be proven wrong. Michael Steele. Oh, they don't. It's not the best and brightest they bring into today's GOP. Oh God. So yeah, they say he did not deny. They went on to deny it. But yeah, it's fucking Republicans with no spine. It's like, oh, he's such a racist. He's such a racist. So that's that article. All right, so here's the article. You ready? You ready for the article? This I laughed so hard. I swear to God. Like I know I'm pumping this up, but here it is. Okay. DNC chairman Tom Perez on Trump's shithole comment. My parents came from one of those countries. Oh my God. Oh my God. You have no idea how hard I laughed the first time I saw this. Oh God. I couldn't breathe by the end of it. I was dying. Okay. Democratic National Committee chairman, so head of the DNC, head of the party, Tom Perez, aligned himself with the countries insulted by President Trump in comments leaked from the Oval Office meeting with lawmakers on immigration. Perez, whose parents are from the Dominican Republic, and I think we can agree, I've met enough Dominicans, it's a shithole, said his parents came from a country similar to those mentioned by Trump in a tweet responding to the president. I think I retweeted this too. My parents came from one of those countries. Oh, I don't know if we should go any further. Oh, I think that's as far as we need to go. Oh God. Oh God. How like this is the thing. Like I understand optics and politics and all the rest, but how is a human being with a sense of humor, if you were a politician and Tom Perez tweeted this out, especially if you're a Republican, how could you not comment on this and make fun of him? How could you not do that? Just like, oh, so are you admitting he's right? Like, what are you saying, Tom Perez? Oh God. Like, okay, yeah, why did they come from the Dominican Republic to here? Yeah, because it is a shithole. That's why they came here. Like, and you're just admitting that. Yeah, my parents came from. Yeah, like I don't even want to get into it. There's a reason why my grandparents, from multiple lines, came from Ireland. Why they left Ireland? Because back then Ireland was a shithole. That's why they left. It was the reason why people fled Italy and fled everywhere in Europe and came to the United States, because it was a better nation to go to. Like, it's not controversial to fucking say that in any way. That's the history of our nation. People leaving lesser nations, coming to a better one. That's the fucking history of our nation. What, like, even the Pilgrims, the founders, the colonists, they came to this nation and founded a new one to make it superior to that of the one they left and broke away from. That is literally the history of this nation. It was an open rebellion against a lesser nation, and they formed the nation that became the hegemon of the world. How is it even in any way conceivable that this nation is not superior to that of almost every nation on the face of this earth? How is it even possible that anyone could think otherwise? Like, this isn't even cultural relativism. This is just denial of self-evident reality. It's ridiculous that anyone could say that this is not true about the United States, that we are superior to almost any fucking nation. You know, the things to complain about is like, yeah, we don't have, adequate enough universal health care. There's that, and like a handful of other fucking things. So crime is kind of bad. We got an opioid fucking addiction thing. A handful of other issues. Drinking water, access to food, good jobs, everything else. Despite my criticisms of this country, we don't have basic fucking problems. We have very complex, modern era fucking, empire of the world trying to maintain itself. We have those kind of fucking problems. God damn. Am I wrong here? Am I wrong here? Am I wrong to say that this is kind of one of the self-evident things about this country is that it is superior to others? People considering, it's even in the UK, people in the UK considering fleeing the UK to the United States to escape speech laws. This is the thing about the United States is that you look around and you go, well, there's some bad things going on in the United States, but goddamn, it's better than what's going on here. But what does that make this country? It makes it superior to that of your own. God. Why is that controversial to say? Oh my, and people say it's cultural relativism. It is just like insane contradictory fucking like political correctness. Like, I think people are giving it too much credit to call it cultural relativism. I think you're giving too much credit. Oh my god. People are in the chat saying like like my parents just abandoned their family to come here. It's like, yeah. No wonder. That's what my grandfather did that. My grandfather's grandfather's side of the family on my mother's side, that entire, and I mean the whole side of that family outside of my grandfather is still in fucking Quebec. And they can fucking stay there. They can stay in fucking Quebec. I'll stay here. And so did my grandfather. And so did my mother. You know why? Because this is a superior fucking part of the world. This is better than fucking Quebec. If any of the family members that came from there wanted to go back, they could have gone back. They never went back. And they didn't send any money back. They kept it all here. They left their whole fucking family behind to come here. Why do you think? Why do you think that was? Oh, man. No, they just came here just for no reason. They just came to the United States for no reason, left their whole fucking family behind, never went back. They just stayed here because, I don't know. I don't know why they came here for no reason. Just for the hell of it, I guess. Oh, Christ. So I'm saving one of these stories here. So we'll get to this. Actually, we'll move to this before I get to the ban and things. So the president of Uganda, and it's so funny because this comes hot on the heels of the Uganda Knuckles meme. Like, this came right after I think that meme officially died, quote unquote. So when that meme died, right after that happened, the president of Uganda gave multiple statements, including on Twitter, saying that Donald Trump is speaking completely accurate about Africa. Oh my god, this is another story that I couldn't believe was real. I couldn't, and again, they have his tweets in the fucking, he gave more than one statement praising Trump for saying that African nations were shitholes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Some people in Africa, they say in this article, condemns it. But the fact that the head of, I mean, this guy has balls to say that, by the way, by like all credit in the world to the president of Uganda, who has balls of steel to come out and say this, because it's not false. Africa has like an endless list of fucking issues, an endless list of issues in terms of the entire continent. So when Trump says that, he's not wrong, and it's amazing to see the president of a fucking nation just say, like, yeah, he's right. He's speaking frankly. Oh my god. But again, like I say, genuinely, all credit to the president of Uganda, because it takes incredibly large balls to say that. Because you're admitting that on your own continent that it has some real issues, and you have all the weight in the world to say to you to not say that, to say the opposite, to deny Trump, say he's a racist, and say, oh no, Africa's fine. But he came out and said, no, he's right. Africa has a lot of fucking issues, and he's glad that Trump is being frank about it. And if this is him doing power politics to cozy up to Trump for fucking funding, and for, and to have a military base in Uganda and shit and get foreign funding, this is what you do, bro. Thumbs up. If it's just you being cynical, thumbs up. You know what you're doing, bro. This is how you win favor with the United States. If we say something stupid, you go, you're right. You go, yes, we got it. We got one guy that says we're right. Here's a military base. Here's a couple $2 billion. So yeah, I can't believe this story. It was so fucking unbelievable. And this is the cherry on top of the whole fucking thing, in my opinion. Okay. I guess we'll get to the Bannon story. So, what happened is that there was a book that some guy, Wolf, something Wolf, wrote a book, and he was an insider in the White House and was basically supposedly writing down all he saw. And one of the things that he talked about was that Steve Bannon basically shit on a few different people to Wolf. And one of the things that he shit on was Donald Trump Jr. and Jared Kushner. So Stephen Bannon is a really, really, really controversial figure. And I mentioned him, and I actually praised him a few times because he is actually one of the fucking fringe of conservatives that openly talks about corporatism. He is one of the fucking very few conservatives that talk about corporatism and what a threat it is to the United States, and does so openly to hundreds of people on a stage with a microphone. Says it right to their faces what the issue is and the dangers of it. And he's done. Steve Bannon's done. He's done. His career is over. He's old. And for him to make a comeback, it would take years. The comments that were published in that book that came from him pissed Donald Trump off, pissed a bunch of people off. He lost his spotlight role on SiriusXM on the Patriot channel, which is the conservative talk channel. He lost his spot there. He got kicked out of Breitbart. Breitbart reported completely on the story. People are saying, oh, Breitbart's not going to report. They did multiple articles on this. Multiple articles. And they just said what, Steve Bannon did. And he left. I imagine he was forced to resign, but he left Breitbart. And this was his lifeline. This is all he had. All he had was Breitbart. And while people seem to regard him as a schemer and really cynical and all the rest, maybe that's true. Maybe he's a total scumbag, a con artist, a fraudster, whatever. But he is a rare conservative voice that actually spoke out against real issues. Didn't just prattle on about abortion. Didn't talk about how, money is free speech. and let me sell you some Jesus, let me sell you some fucking patriotism. He actually talked about some very serious issues that are going on in this country. And his political career is fucking dead. Trump has disowned him completely. Many conservatives have disowned him and written him off. Ben Shapiro celebrated his demise, as did many other faggot Republican, sellouts and corporatists that just see basically they just see conservatism as, let's bitch about abortion for 40 years, accomplish nothing, lose culture, lose everything, and have open borders and corporations make a lot of money. And that's your concerns as a conservative. Like that's what makes you a conservative. You just worship the dollar and talk about Jesus every once in a while, and you accomplish nothing. And insane far leftists run the whole goddamn country. That's conservatism, according to some people. I don't know what to say to people. I can't debate somebody who agrees with the far left on a bunch of different shit. Who thinks that, statehood, having a nation state is something we should just reject. We should just get rid of that. Nation states are redundant. We should just get rid of them. And somehow Christianity is going to make a comeback. How? I don't know. The Dow Jones went up today. Therefore, Jesus is making a comeback. I don't know what to say to conservatives. Like, you guys got to get your head on straight. You got to decide what you actually believe and who actually speaks for you. And understand that, like, if you actually want to win shit ever again, you ever want to hold any kind of cultural power, not just run fucking Fortune 500 companies and smooze with fucking dickheads in the Beltway, you got to actually stand for something. You got to actually believe in something. You can't just worship the dollar. It's not good enough. That's not conservatism. It's just dogmatism around capitalism, as if that's some sort of fucking belief system. Oh, the free market's good. Yeah, I believe that too. It's not a belief system. It's just an economic system. That's all it is. I don't understand why that's something people should worship. But apparently I'm wrong to some people when it comes to that. Some conservatives want to point their finger at me and say, oh, he sounds like a fucking Bernie Sanders socialist. Don't listen to him. So yeah, Trump shit on him, and he's done. Steve Bannon he waited too long to talk about it. He basically couldn't get out in front of it, and he fucked up. He shouldn't have said those things, and it cost him his whole fucking career. He's done. He is done. And it's his fucking fault. He had his opportunity to get ahead of it. He failed to do it. And all I can blame is him. So I will scroll down really quick to see what people have to say about this, because swearing in a Christian stream. Yeah, people saying that they liked Bannon. Yeah, I liked him too. There were definitely some things that I've heard from him that I didn't agree with. Obviously, I'm not a conservative, so obviously I don't agree with everything he says. But the thing is that if I listen to somebody and I can agree with half of what they say and they speak genuinely, like I don't have to question their motivations or at least their intentions of what they're saying. Like when Ben Shapiro says that money is free speech and that having more of it in politics is a good thing, like that literally makes me question you as a person. Like, it's not just, oh, I disagree on this issue. Like you say, oh, I'm a Christian and more people should believe in Christ. Well, I don't agree with that. I believe differently from that, but I can understand you mean that genuinely. I don't, obviously we just disagree. But when you say, oh, money's free speech, we need more of it in politics, I question you as a person. I question what your fucking intentions are, what you actually want to see with this country. I really do. I really question you as a person if you say that kind of shit. Because it makes me think you don't actually believe that. You have some sort of insane ulterior motivation. But I never got that from Bannon. Not once. I don't remember listening to one thing by him where I ever felt that way. I ever felt that he had some insane ulterior motivation to undermine the country. Never once heard it. I wonder how much money it would take to convince Shapiro that abortion is right. That's what I'm saying. There needs to be more pro-abortion lobby groups. They need to lobby the Republican Party. They need to free speech the Republican Party. Maybe tomorrow, they'll turn around and be like, abortion is not that big of a deal. Ben Shapiro, abortion is free speech. That's my argument. Abortion is free speech. You're violating the free speech rights of that mother if you put the fetus. Oh shit. Oh man. Anyways, you'll get a lot more of that when I do that video about the right. So yeah, the assistant chair, the deputy chair of the DNC is Keith Ellison. And Keith Ellison actually is what could be described as like a progressive who's largely phoning it in. He is largely on the side of the establishment, as far as I can tell. He doesn't really differ that much with the establishment of Democrats, like the corporatists, but he is long affiliated with radical groups. And that is one of the things that you can't really say a lot of people. Like, I don't really know how many fucking communist groups that Bernie Sanders has gone to. I haven't seen any like Jeremy Corbyn-esque photos of Bernie Sanders. Like, I haven't seen Bernie Sanders as at a communist rally, holding a communist flag, endorsing communism, like all the shit that people fucking go autistic over. And yet here you have fucking Keith Ellison yet again, affiliating with a borderline, if not a full-blown domestic terrorist group. A group that our federal government is taking very seriously because of potential domestic terrorism. And here this guy is going like, oh my God. He's just like, hey, here's this book by a fucking communist. It's nothing more than a propaganda book justifying violence against fucking fascists, which is everyone who's not Antifa. And here, let me endorse this. It's like, holy fucking shit. I don't really know what to go from here on this, because I was surprised he did this. But again, this isn't the first time that Keith Ellison has been linked directly with a fucking radical group, with an extremist group. This is not the first time. I wonder if they have it in this article. Do they have it in here? I don't think they do, but he was linked with the Black Identitarian group. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it was a Muslim group. I can't remember which, but it was either or. It was either a Black Identitarian group, or it was a radical one, or a radical Muslim group. I can't remember which, but he was linked with another one before this. Oh, man. I just saw this and I was like, holy shit. Like, this is a big deal. This is the deputy chair of the fucking DNC endorsing Antifa. Like, that is a big fucking deal. And there was very little pushback against this. Even on InfoWars, 276 comments. There's probably going to be more comments on this fucking video. That there was not a lot of pushback against this, even though it is a pretty big deal. All right. So that's pretty much it for the serious stories. We're going to get to some less serious stories. Okay. So Dan Harmon is the wasn't he the guy? Was he the Rick and Morty guy? Okay, so he Left Community. He wrote for Modern Family. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Is it that was he was for? Is It's Always Sunny? I thought he was. I thought he wrote, or maybe I'm confusing him with somebody else. I thought let me check the chat. Okay, yeah, he's Rick and Morty. Okay, thank you, Seb9995. So this is somebody who's on an advanced playing field. He has a high IQ, and I can't get it. I don't get Rick and Morty. Oh, it's actually his shirt. I can't believe it. I noticed that he's actually wearing the shirt. This is a guy that's just on another level than me. Okay. And one of the things that's true about Dan Harmon, and that's not true about me, because I am a dirty non-progressive, is that Dan Harmon is a male feminist. Dan Harmon is not a Nazi. And he thinks that everybody should say that too. We need to treat women better. We got to be male feminists, and we got to treat women better. So Dan Harmon just left. I think it was Rick and Morty too. And he got in trouble with whoever the fuck this dumb cunt is. And it's because apparently during his tenure of when he was writing for Community, he abused a woman. Surprise! Surprise! Can anyone believe it? Can anyone believe it? Another feminist, another far leftist who thinks everyone's a Nazi, abused a woman. I'm shocked. And what's amazing is that I'm still sitting here as an anti-feminist, and I have still yet to abuse a woman. God damn it. God damn it. Dan Harmon got to her first. I was going to get this stupid bitch. I was going to get her. But he got to her first. God damn it. There's only so many victims in this world, and I can't find any. You know, I'm sitting here not agreeing with feminism, and yet I've had yet to abuse a single woman. Ugh. Dan Harmon, you took her from me. I was going to abuse her. I'm supposed to be the woman abuser in the world, not you. You're supposed to be the good male feminist. You're not a Nazi. Oh, but you're the woman abuser, the self-admitted woman abuser. God damn it. When is it going to be our turn? When is it going to be the turn of the anti-feminists who abuse women? We can never get to the women first. We always come late. We're always late to the fucking party. We get there and we're like, God damn it. Dan already got to her. You know, I was going to abuse whatever the fuck the chick's name was that Russian Deadpool shot and murdered. I was going to get to her. I was going to abuse her. But God damn it. That Russian bastard got to her first and killed her. Oh, God damn it. Now I can't even abuse her. She's in the grave. God damn it. Oh. What are we supposed to do, guys? What are we supposed to do? All I have in my mind is the constant need to abuse women, but I just can't find any. There's too many male feminists killing them and abusing them first. Oh, God damn it. And meanwhile, we move over to IGN. Oh, IGN. Oh, God damn, those women in gaming are being abused, people. Women in gaming are victims of images of misogyny that people call anime. Oh, those images of misogyny. If only Anita Sarkeesian would be on the consulting, it would consult with every goddamn company, then we would stop seeing the abuse of women in fucking gaming. Steve Butts, the editor-in-chief of IGN, has left the company. He was forced out. But why? Why? Why did he leave? Why did he leave? Oh! It's because he was abusive towards a woman. Oh. Another fucking target. Another missed opportunity. Another target lost. God damn it, Steve Butts. I was going to abuse her, but you got to her first. Oh, man. This is one of the things, like, I'm actively looking to abuse women in gaming, but God damn it, Steve Butts is the head of a company. Got to her first. The head of IGN. Images of misogyny, IGN. Male feminist, insane soy boy community, IGN. The head of that company got to her first. Oh, I can't imagine that, actually, let me rephrase that. I have to assume that Steve Butts was just the only guy there that was going to do that, that did do that. He's probably the only guy there that abused a woman. The only guy, only the head of the company, the only guy there that has abused a woman. The only one there. This story. Okay. So I'm going to try to contain myself. Because if you're paying attention to me on Twitter earlier, I was going pretty crazy. And we'll get to this one first. Let me move this over. So everybody's favorite feminist in gaming, the provocateur in chief, the woman that's here to lecture all of us about women in games and about how to design games and how to make gaming more inclusive for some fandom audience, and it has nothing to do with feminist ideology and basically destroying this fucking industry. By the way, what the fuck is that? What is... Oh, fuck. What is this? Who is this? What the fuck? Look at this guy. Lanky fucker. All right. There's this thing about comics. It's called like the Milkshake Girls, where it's a bunch of like super untalented women in comics that usually work for Marvel. That's what I think this is. That's what I think this is. A lot of problems, glasses, a lot of fucking topping out at 5s. Just about. I'm looking. Maybe 6 7s. Maybe you're gonna have to argue with me. This doesn't help, by the way. I really don't like shitty, trashy tattoos. But not a lot of beauty and not a lot of talent. And this person here, who's, by the way, very short, is not going to help this situation. Because Anita Sarkeesian is an ideologue. She is not a game dev. She is not a game dev. She is not worth consulting unless what you are introducing into your game is ideological shit. And guess what you did with your last 3 or 4 fucking games there, BioWare Edmonton? You put fucking bullshit into them. And let's see, Mass Effect 3 was a disaster. Dragon Age 2 was a disaster. Dragon Age Inquisition should have been more of a disaster, and for whatever reason, people give it all this credit when they shouldn't, because it was shit. Dragon Age Inquisition was worse than Dragon Age 2. It was very graphically enhanced garbage. A lot of people that praise that game, I found, haven't even finished it. And that includes me, and I haven't praised it because it's shit. It's monotonous shit. Dragon Age Inquisition was shit. Mass Effect Andromeda was so fucking bad, you closed the goddamn studio that made it and laid people off and consolidated them, that whole team, into other teams. That's how bad Andromeda was. And you completely abandoned any plans to add DLC to the fucking game. You just left it. That's how big of a failure it was. And you had a lot of diversity crap in that game. It's full of ideological dog shit. And bringing on this stupid ideological fucking motivated and money motivated cunt is not going to make your game better, especially when you have a room full of fucking diversity hires and probably the one guy that actually does all the work. Because he doesn't look trans enough to me to be a fucking diversity hire. And so while this is irritating, we are moving to the true story here, the actual story here, the story that I want to talk about that makes this so fucking great. And let me find the meme that I posted, because Vegas Vacation is one of my favorite movies growing up. I loved Chevy Chase when I was a child, and I still do love Chevy Chase. But this scene right here, especially this face. This face, okay? This face describes this next article, okay? It's not just this Anita Sarkeesian thing, okay? This is part of it. Are you okay? Buckle up, okay? You ready? Buckle up, buckos. Are you ready to have your mind blown? Are you ready for some fucking Rick and Morty level fucking mind blowing? That is this article by Paul Tassi, that cocksucker at Forbes. Ads there, Forbes. BioWare reportedly has everything riding on Anthem, now a 2019 release. Oh, baby! Oh, baby! Oh, yes! You go for it. Put it all on the table. Oh, go all in, BioWare. Go all in. I am ready. I am ready, BioWare. Because what this is, if this is true, that you are betting everything on this fucking mundane shit, this is the end. This is the fucking end that I have been waiting for. The closure that I have been waiting since Mass Effect 3 for. The end of this fucking company. I can't wait. I can't wait. And I hope that everything that was the PR disaster that was fucking Mass Effect Andromeda, I hope it is nothing more than a repeat with this game. This piece of shit, boring ass fucking sci-fi game. I hope to God that PewDiePie and everyone that is an influencer for who actually buys games and likes games, whether it's Markiplier or who the fuck ever, shows up and ruthlessly mocks this game. I hope this is nothing but another PR disaster for you, and that this finally seals the deal for this company. This is finally the nail that kills this company. And this is the game I want you to go all in. Like, I want you to put all of your chips, all of your strength, all of your power into this one game. Bet it all. Go to EA and say, this is the fucking game that is going to make you a mint. I want it to be this fucking game. Because I think this game is going to be nothing more than another fucking dog shit, boring, just beyond fucking monotonous grind of pure mediocrity with stuff full of fucking ideology. And I want it to be that, and I want it so badly for you to just have every fucking diversity hire working on this game so that when it releases, it is a fucking bomb that lands on Edmonton and fucking takes down your office and puts every single talentless cocksucker still working for that company out in the streets where they can starve and die, and I can finally be done with this. Because out of every company in gaming, in the Western industry, I cannot begin to tell you how much I fucking hate BioWare. It is the worst company. It is the absolute worst. It is devoid of talent and overhyped, overrated to such an extent that it is sad. People praise their games still to this point as if they are trying to apologize for a drunken fucking loser who has just committed suicide, and they're at their wake trying to come up with one good thing to say about them. That is what this company is, and I am sick of it. I'm sick of people lying on behalf of these purely talentless, ideologically driven hacks. This company should die. And everyone that worked at it, everyone, whether it is the person like sweeping the floor or all the way to Casey Hudson, they should be, after this company fails, unemployable. They should be out of the Western industry for good, for life. They should be blacklisted like fucking Joe Pesci in fucking Casino, blacklisted from this industry, blackballed out of the industry permanently, because these people are fucking talentless, and their deficit of talent destroyed this company, made it nothing more than a joke people apologize for. I hate this company so much, and I can't wait. I can't wait. Don't make it 2019, BioWare. Don't put it off. Bring it to 2018 so my prediction can be true. Move it up. Move it up, because it ain't going to matter. This game, I hope to God, is a goddamn disaster, and I hope everyone, like, they do something so that somebody organizes some kind of boycott, or that somebody makes some kind of, video that goes viral that mocks this game. Something happens that's a PR disaster akin to Mass Effect Andromeda, so we can finally see this company die, so that this can be it. Been waiting for closure on this for a long time, and I hope that this is it. I hope that this is the nail, that this is the last fucking thing that this company puts out, and that this is the end. This company deserves to be closed. Maxis continues to put out content, despite it no longer existing. They put out content that sells. They're making millions of dollars still on The Sims, and yet this goddamn forsaken company, this fucking piece of shit company, continues to churn out games that don't sell, that are shit, that are made fun of by everyone for their awfulness, and yet somehow they're still going. Even Telltale is on the brink of closing, and it is sad to watch. But with this company, there is no greater company for who should be out of business than BioWare at this point. Name me another company, another dev company that deserves to be put out, taken out back, and have both barrels put into the back of their head more than this company. Name me one. I hope to God this is it. I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. If there is a God, please intervene and close this fucking company. Please let this be it. Let this be the end of BioWare, because I can't take it anymore. I'm sick of people saying, well, Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't that bad. Fucking Dragon Age Inquisition wasn't that bad. Yes, it was. They are unplayable. They are terrible. They are games that should not exist, because it is so hollow. It is nothing more than, each of those games are 80 to 100 hour, if not longer, single-player MMOs that are nothing more than fetch quests, grind, and pure mediocrity. They are irredeemable content franchises, okay? Irredeemable at this point. And that wasn't true back in 2010. A lot of people had criticisms that were fair of BioWare, but since 2010, this company has not made anything even worth looking at. And yet there has been so much equivocation, so much apologizing for, so much avoidance of the fact that of all companies that deserve to die, This is it. And I am just chomping at the bit for that day to come. Just waiting. You know, I don't know what I will do should that day come. I have no idea what I will do the day that BioWare announces mass layoffs and they are basically consolidating the entire company, the Edmonton studio. I have no idea what I will do on that day should it come, and I think it will. I have no idea what I'll do. You know, maybe that's the day. You know, I do a face reveal and I go outside and I have a fire pit and I just take well, my parents actually have a fire pit. I take out all the lithographs that I have of Mass Effect in that, and I just light them all on fire. You know, burn thousands of dollars worth of art. Just burn it all. Just for the sake of celebrating this company's fucking demise. I have no idea what it will be, but I will savor the moment. You know, if that happens, I will savor the moment. It will be a highlight of my fucking life. Oh, shit. All right, so that's about it for screen share. There's nothing else. Oh, man. Far Cry 5 soon, yeah. I'm not sure if my if I would say that I have much faith in Far Cry 5 being very good. I don't think that's possible. Oh, man. People saying they want. I just wanted KOTOR 3. Oh, man. Good luck. Good luck. Enjoy that. Oh, man. I would. KOTOR 3, I think I would want to see a KOTOR 3, Knights of the Old Republic 3, just to watch people get so angry when it's just mediocre trash full of diversity. Oh, God. I would just love to see people be enraged by that. Just to let it'd be like watching Half-Life 3 come out and it's just trash. It's just diversity quota trash. I'd like to watch people suffer for that. I would just take glee off of it because they would have felt the same pain I have. All right, so let's get to some super chats. I know I've been putting them off. Daka says, commies aren't people, Lewis. Dropping black block with a Glock Le Vau, yeah. Or I should say Louis dropping black block with a Glock Le Vau. Levi, actually. Yes. Mandatory Asian waifus. Yes, that is. I'm currently working on the policy. I'm currently troubleshooting that policy, or workshopping, actually, that policy. That's the technical term. The Geth says, do you think a story will break of Twitter employees selling child nudes and Fit doesn't help the leftists suck corporate dick? I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I wouldn't be surprised if there was somebody in Twitter that, I mean, the thing that I think could have happened in terms of like the child porn is there's a guy that has access to the DMs. He collects all this fucking child porn. They basically figure it out that he's doing that, and they discreetly fire him. I would say there's a very strong likelihood of that happening. Beamer says for $5, why don't you like Steven Crowder? It's a combination of things. I don't think he's very honest in his presentation. He's more of an entertainer than he is an actual like commentator. And I think it's easy to say that about me, but I don't go out of my way to make incendiary fucking shit that there's a huge question of whether or not it's faked. I really don't like Steven Crowder for a few reasons, and it's because a lot of it comes off as a persona. And what I mean by that is if you've watched people like Markiplier or Boogie, people that seem very rehearsed and they speak in a very professional manner where they articulate themselves very directly to you, and they just seem way too clean cut in their presentation, way too scripted, way too rehearsed, way too inflexive in their voice and the way that they present themselves, where they just come off as an actor. They don't come off as a person. with Steven Crowder, that comes through leaps and bounds, in my opinion, and that grades against me. I really don't like personalities like that. I find watching people like Markiplier insufferable. I can't watch them. It's not even whether like they could be out there talking about things that I agree with completely. You know, they're watching my video, just literally reading the same script, and I couldn't listen to it because it's just their persona is just so grating to me. I demand authenticity. I hate in authenticity. I hate it. To quote Bernie, the commie Sanders, open borders, that's a Koch brothers policy, and I already read that earlier. Yeah, thank you, TK. It's going to be in that video when I do it on immigration. Alex says, talk about CNN, the cuck article, please. I don't really know how much I have to say about that. Maybe I can put that in like a hangout stream if I do it. Like, there's not much to talk about that. I saw somebody say on Twitter that there seems to be a lot of people at like these really ridiculous bourgeois left establishment outlets that are like openly in favor of cuckoldery. It is very oddly brought up. You know, it's like when people talk about how many pro pedophilia articles there are, how weird that is. This is getting pretty weird too. How many weird pro cuckoldry articles there are coming out of these people. And that's fine if they want to be fucking cucks and they want to have a bull fuck their wife or whatever. But you know, if I ever get married and you fuck my wife, I'm gonna kill you. You know, you're gonna be lucky to escape with your life. It's not gonna be that, you know, you get to fuck my wife and I'm gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, fucking jerk off to it. No, you're gonna die, motherfucker. You're gonna die. So yeah, I'm not into cuckoldry. The only kind of cuckoldry that I'm into is I forget what the name of that it's called something. And it's basically I forget what it is, but there's this Yuri anime, I want to say. I don't think it's a visual novel. I think it's an anime where basically it's two girls that are going out with two guys, and basically they cuck the two guys together because they get into a lesbian relationship. Maybe that's the kind of cuckoldry I'm into, where two girls become friends and then lovers and they cuck their boyfriends by having sex with one another. Maybe that's what I could get into just as an outside observer. But anything that's actually to do with me personally, no, I'm not into that. The Lion says Christianity better than atheism. One God is better than no God. Checkmate. Yes, I have been defeated. The Alpha Frag says face reveal when Bioware dies. I can't promise anything. I don't really know, but all I'll say is that I will legitimately savor the moment that it happens. I legitimately will. People are now they're ragging on fucking Boogie. All right, now I'm actually paying attention to the chat. Oh, somebody just said it. It's NTR. I think that stands for something. But yeah, it's Netsuku Trap, which makes it sound like it's something else. But yeah. Nikopara? No. People ragging on fucking Boogie. People are talking about Stefan Molyneux. Yeah, that's people have asked me before why I don't dislike. Well, I don't know. I don't like Stephen Molyneux. I don't like him. I can't watch him, and he is Markiplier levels of fucking acting. I can't stand it. I cannot fucking stand it. Uh, How long do I think? People said that I honestly can't remember the prediction that I made at this point. I think I either said the end of 2018. I think that may have been the year I said that Bioware's done. I thought I said 2019, but maybe that's me trying to justify or create revisionist history of what I said. I honestly thought that Andromeda was it. I thought that was going to kill it off. But I couldn't believe that they continued on. They pushed onward. The closing of the studio, I thought that was the minimum or the start, really, But the fact that they just announced a Dragon Age game, I was like, dude, you got to be fucking kidding me. Let's see. Let me just scroll back down. What's the one? Press 1 if cat girls can consent. Well, you are actually wrong there, Asian biology student. You are, in fact, woefully wrong. Cat girls cannot consent. That is demonstrably wrong, by the way. And eventually I'm going to debate that with somebody. Pay me $1,000 so we can debate that fucking issue. Because I think it should be debated, and I am going to take the position that cat girls cannot consent. I question whether my big thing is I question whether traps are gay. I think people are assuming that they're gay. I don't know if that's actually true. And I also firmly believe that cat girls cannot consent. The time for arguments is over. Oh, man. All right, let me scroll back down. Yeah, what time is it? All right, yeah. Still good on time. The traps are gay if you're aware that they're traps. Well, it depends. It depends on how far you go. Traps are straight. All right, let me check Twitter because I saw some comments on there. Question for the stream: Do you know the way of the devil? You'll have to ask the president of Uganda. Goodbye, Bioware. This is by El Deuterino. Goodbye, Bioware. It was fun while it lasted, but really, let's just all agree that you died in 2012 after Mass Effect 3 turned out to be a massive wet fart / troll. Yeah, Mass Effect 3 was a fucking disaster. It really was. Like the parts of that game that were terrible were just so blatantly so that it was unbelievable. It was an unbelievably bad game. And there were redeeming parts of Mass Effect 3, and I don't really need to get into it here, but so much of that game was fucking shit. And again, people just say, "Oh, you just mean the ending." No, I don't just mean the ending. I mean the fucking game. The ending was the cherry on top of the shit sundae, as the angry video game nerd would say. The game was shit. You can point to the cherry on top, but that's not all I'm talking about here. The thing that pissed me off that I'll never forgive was the fact that the company itself, fanboys and the press, closed ranks to shit on anyone and demonize anyone criticizing the fucking game. I'll never fucking forgive that. And that's one of the main drivers for why I want this company to be done, is because I won't forgive what they did. It wasn't just producing a bad game. It was closing ranks to demonize your own fans. That should be the closure should be the price you pay for that. I've never seen it with any other company. I've never seen it in the way that I did with fucking BioWare, with Mass Effect. Never saw it again, ever. People talk about Konami. It was way different, completely different than what happened with fucking BioWare. BioWare is the one that actually came out and shit on their own fans. People that bought their games that were fans of theirs for a fucking decade. They just told to get lost. The game's fine. You're full of shit. Fuck you. They put out some bullshit patch. Oh, we're going to include some bullshit where you talk to some people on the Citadel. That's not the fucking point. That's not going to change the fact that you closed rank and agree with a journalist that everyone that disagrees that this is anything less than a perfect game, a 9.5 out of 10, is a fucking misogynist or whatever else and should leave the community. That is unforgivable. And this is the price you're going to pay for what you did. What you did. Aldunarino also says the irony being that said character then lost all the money and then his life savings to that card table. I understand. I've seen the movie. Aldunarino. I've seen the movie. But I just meant all I spoke about was my confidence. That's what I said in that. I have somebody sending me a link. It's some Facebook meme. I told him I wanted to try it in the shithole. He booked 2 tickets to Haiti. And it's a crying girlfriend meme. How many times have you busted a nut to the work of Hitomi Tanaka? I am not sure who you mean. The work of Hitomi Tanaka? Oh, apparently it's some porn actress with huge tits. Probably zero. Because I'm not into Asians with huge tits there, buddy. Is that it? Is that all for the commentary on the twatter? Aaron says, can we just agree that everything after Mass Effect 3 doesn't exist and BioWare is actually EA wearing a studio it's Mitsu? No, it's dude, it's BioWare. Like, that's what people want to say. Oh, it's fucking EA, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's EA that's funding them. It's giving them a blank check to make whatever garbage they want to, but it's BioWare. They're the ones making these games, man. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go check on 7 different Discords I'm in for research materials on the 2D versus 3D debate. I've already said before, Aaron, that 3D is better than 2D, and that is demonstrable. That is provably true, that 3D is better than 2D. Info Chill says, how'd Mass Effect series turn into shit? Well, the summary of that is that they basically created a very solid first game, not perfect, but solid, in some ways overrated, but a very solid game. They rushed a second game, and with that second game, they streamlined the hell out of it, which many people see as the unforgivable mistake, but I think it was the inability to actually adapt the game that they wanted to make versus the game that people were expecting, and they tried to split the baby. And in the end, they still had, in my opinion, I think the second game is better than the first for a multitude of reasons. I still think that Lair of the Shadow Broker is one of the best DLCs ever made in gaming. However, the second game was a little bit less perfect than the first, and they seem to be going a bit off the rails. After Mass Effect 2, some things changed, and one of the things that they did was they hoard out a lot of product. It was with Mass Effect 2 that they introduced a shitload of merchandise, the lithographs. They went crazy. They started doing comics. They started doing that. They did an anime. They went crazy and just trying to create this to be a huge fucking franchise. And then they delivered fucking Mass Effect 3, which was a disaster. Not just a PR disaster, but a disaster of a game. And what they did was they took they took the expectations of people and they just threw them into the trash and just didn't expect anyone to react to it. They just thought, yeah, we'll just throw this all away, and people that bought into the hype, they're not going to react negatively to it. And when they did, they just shit on the people that acted, that reacted poorly. You can't pump up something to be the next like Star Wars fucking franchise, the next big thing, and then fail to deliver in any way, shape, and form. And then when people go insane and say like, wow, what the fuck is this? What did you do? Why did you destroy this? You had all the opportunity and all the, the time in the world to make this great series, and that's what you promised, and you fucking failed to do it in any way, shape, and form to deliver. And then what do? They just turned around and joined rank with the journalist and shit on their own audience. Like I said before, I've never seen any other company do it like they did. I've never seen another company do it. And that to me was unforgivable. And Andromeda was just a bad game. Like, I don't know what to say about it. If you think about Mass Effect 3 with an amalgamation of all the EA's shit practices, microtransactions, online pass, on-disc DLC, etc., yeah, I mean, that was another thing. The business practices that EA is now infamous for, they went fucking crazy on Mass Effect 3. They did a lot of bad shit when it came to business policy on Mass Effect 3. There was like pre-order shit that was locked away, and there's a lot of bad shit that they did with Mass Effect 3. A lot of people were angry for that reason. I honestly didn't care. That wasn't the reason I was upset. I wanted a good game. I don't care if it has fucking microtransactions for whatever online portion. I really didn't care about that. It was the fact that they built this thing up to be the biggest thing in gaming, and it was nothing but dog shit. And when people went like, what the fuck is this, bro? This is supposed to be the climax to this trilogy. And it was like, you don't like it? Fuck you. It's like, but I'm the fan. You can't say that to me. I'm the fan. I'm the customer. You can't turn around and say that. It's like, okay, we're going to join rank with the journalists and bye. Fuck you. It's like, what happened? So yeah, that's the long and short of what happened with Mass Effect. They betrayed their own player base. Sent you an interesting screen grab on Twitter. I'll take a look. Wrong 2D. Can't say you raped them 3 weeks later. Well, that is a problem. This really speaks. This is by Graham. This really speaks volumes about the problem that infiltrated the geek culture, and it's Magdalene. Is this Mags Massagio? Your face when you can't promote socialism. You want to promote socialism, but you have to write comics based on action figures. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that like I don't know what to say. If this is Mags Massagio that works for fucking Atlas, oh, thank God she doesn't work for Atlas, works for Marvel, they gotta just fire her. Just get rid of her. Fire her. That's all you gotta do. That's all fucking BioWare had to do, was fire their fucking diversity hires. They didn't do it. I don't know what to say. If they want to go down with the ship, and that's what they care about, is fucking diversity hires more than their own customers, so be it. I don't run their company. I really don't know what people want. Oh, man. I regret my purchase of Wolfenstein 2. Well, I tried to warn you, bro. Why are Jap devs like 10 times more likely to retain their god tier status? I have no idea. Well, the thing is, I've already said this about Japanese game developers. The thing is that Japanese gaming, as far as I can tell, isn't massively innovating. You aren't seeing like insane innovation coming out of Japan, in my opinion. I mean, they're fucking re-releasing Catherine. Like years later, they're re-releasing Catherine from Atlas. And yet they're adding content to the game, and I'm sitting here like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna rebuy that game. It's like, what is that? What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That they're literally adding a character to a game, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna buy that game. And yet I'm sitting here like begging for the death of a Western studio. You know, what does that fucking tell you? Japanese gaming is just basically they aren't shit, and that is how they're growing. It's like, yeah, let's not just base our game around fucking empty ideology and just publish dog shit. And it's like, yeah, we succeed because of that. It's like, wow, what fucking insane like this what would be the word? Revelations. What insane revelations we are seeing coming from Japanese developers by them simply not producing an endless stream of carbon copy shit mediocrity. Wow, what incredible business sense. And they don't shit on their fans. They don't shit on their fans. They don't shit on their customers. Unlike every goddamn company in the Western industry, they don't shit on the people buying their products. Wow. What we need is Atlas to come in and start buying Western companies and moving them to Japan and saying, no white people. White pigoo go home. White pigoo go home. We take your intellectual property. White pigoo stay home. We make your games better than you do. But like literally, I can imagine Japanese game developers taking Mass Effect away from BioWare, just being like, no SJW shit, and they just make a better game and release it. And it's like a fucking insane bestseller. Because literally they had no one in that company was a diversity hire, and that's why it succeeded. Because when you have a company with incredible deficit of talent, you are incapable of making a good game. That's my whole argument about BioWare. They don't have the people that are required to actually make a functional and good game. They don't have the talent. So what they have is a deficit of talent. And so what you get is a barely functional, if functional at all, mediocre piece of shit game. That's the best they can do because they don't have the talent to make it any better. That's what you should expect from every game they release because that's all they got. So yes, we need to outsource the Western gaming industry. Seriously. Maybe outside of a couple studios, hashtag outsource Western gaming. Because goddamn, the Japanese cannot do any worse. We'll take back like the steel industry. It's gone to China now. You went to Japan, but it's gone to China now. But we need to take one of their fucking industries from them, and they can take gaming. Because goddamn, there's just so little redeeming or worth redeeming in Western gaming right now. It's just so little. Cat girl shepherd. All right, so yeah, we'll let's wrap this up. So you got the Vince McMahon meme. Yeah. So we'll close this out. So if there's any final questions, feel free to ask, and I'll answer them, and we'll end this fucking stream. We'll just end it. Our trap bot's gay. I think the chat is catching up. Oh man, what a day today. Oh, Undoomed has joined. No, we are going to wrap this up. 2 questions and then we're done. Opinion of Divinity Original Sin 1 and Original Sin 2 in Larian Studios. I have a positive feelings towards Larian Studios. I kickstarted Original Sin 1, couldn't finish it, and I don't think I even bothered with Divinity Original Sin 2. It's just not my style of game. But I like Larian Studios though. They seem to be pretty competent. Do you think Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be full of SJW bullshit? I would highly doubt it. That would be so far out of left field for fucking CD Projekt Red that it would be like unbelievably shocking. Unbelievably shocking. That they would do that. I would be very disappointed too. I know you don't care, but the Buffalo Sabres are holding a 2-0 lead over Vancouver. I don't care, bro. I haven't watched the Sabres in years. Why do people like JF? Because they think he's genuine when a lot of evidence says that he isn't. Let's see here. Do you think alt-right people are from Canada? Mostly? I don't know. A lot of alt-right people appear to be Jews or multiracial or married to somebody multiracial or married to somebody who's Jewish. Like, the alt-right is pretty insane, and I have very little to say about it. Thoughts on TJ's new show? I haven't seen it. Am I wanting to play Monster Hunter World? Well, I have not been into the Monster Hunter game, so I'd probably say no. Will you play Doki Doki Literature Club blind? I don't know how I exactly play it blind. If you mean I haven't looked up any like spoilers for it, then yes, I haven't looked up any spoilers for it. Is there any one Western video game company that could lead the charge to make Western games great again, or just one that you find tolerable? If you can consider CD Projekt Red Western, sure, CD Projekt Red, maybe them. But nothing else really comes to mind. Really, I really can't think of any company that in the West that is leading the charge. There's just so much universal mediocrity. It's just so out of control at this point. Yeah, are you consider playing Kingdom Come Deliverance? I am considering it, but I'm not sold on it just yet. What was my opinion on the government shutdown? Mostly just a political sideshow. Like it was last time, just mostly political theater. East Asian diversity hires when? You don't need diversity hires for East Asians. That's the thing. That's one of the people that Google and many other companies are discriminating against. They actually don't hire East Asians because there are so many East Asians already in the company. Have I played any of the Metro games? I have. I think I've actually played 2, and I've not finished 2 because I find it very hard to get into. I've heard of Nurkish. I've not watched any of Nurkish. Thoughts on the alt-right co-opting Worski's channel? A group that will accomplish nothing, starving for attention. That's my opinion. Couple more questions and then we'll wrap this up. Yes, that is actually. I should probably look up that article. I got it saved somewhere. Harvard does discriminate against East Asians. That is actually true. There, Hachi Zenki. That's actually true. I do not have a dog. Will I ever talk to Mr. Medicare again? Probably. It more depends on him than it does me. People are now mocking the alt right. Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, the whole thing with the alt right is that they go on some of my they go on my channel. They make some mean comments. They go, "Oh man, go suck Sargon's dick." Blah 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 blah. What are you going to accomplish? What is the alt right going to accomplish? What are they going to do? What are they pushing for certain politicians, or what are they doing? Are they campaigning for elected office? What are they doing? What is the alt right doing? It's just an endless circle of jerk. It's an endless circle jerk about who's the Jew. They're the Jew. This person's the Jew. I'm trying to hide from the fact that my wife is a Jew or I'm a Jew. Everyone's a Jew, and yet that's as far as it goes. Race is real, and that person's a Jew. We're the alt right, and we're never going anywhere. I don't know what to say. And that's why I say, like, if people want me to debate people and go on one of these fucking retarded streams where people scream at one another, pay me $1,000 because I'm not wasting my time otherwise. Chelsea Valkenberger asked, "Did you see that has been stream on Roosh V's channel today? Roosh V, Laura Loomer, Davis Arini, and two other non-factors. They were taking calls and getting trolled hard." Well, I imagine Roosh V is kind of like a lol cow that is a little bit too ridiculous for anyone to really even laugh at. He's always been fucking ridiculous, and I've never really paid attention to him. I've not played Undertale. I don't watch anime on Netflix. I haven't watched anime or Netflix in years. All right. I'll take it like a couple more questions. We're going to end this. Like, I gave you $200 the other day and paid another $100 to shield your channel to race Worski. Somebody shielded my channel on Worski for like $200. Good luck with that. I know that Worski said some comment the other, like, it was like a week or so ago, saying like, "Who the fuck is this Louis?" He didn't say Louis. He didn't say Louis Le Vau or Louis Le Vau. He said like Louis Le Vau, something like that. So who the fuck is this guy? I just laughed. Someone's like, "Oh man, he's out there talking shit about you." He's like talking shit. He doesn't even know my actual name. He doesn't know who the fuck I am. He's not talking shit. He has no idea who I am. That's the thing is, most people don't understand that I am so small that 9 times out of 10, you're going to be talking to somebody who has no fucking clue who I am. No fucking clue. Let's see what else. Someone bringing up the Richard Spencer tipping fedora thing. I just laughed at that. I thought that was funny. Well, the thing about Richard Spencer is that I can't stand the fact it's like I wish like guys like him would just define what they actually mean. But one of the things is that it's a question of whether they actually understand what they believe or whether they're just unwilling to actually say what they believe. It's a lot of vague shit. They don't actually define like what exactly they mean and what exactly is going to be accomplished. Because I'm going to make the case in the video when I talk about immigration that if you took people from East Asia and brought them into this country and actually made sure that they acclimatized to this country well enough that they saw themselves as American, they would outperform everyone, including whites, in just about every conceivable category. So when you say, oh man, what we need is a white ethno state, that's going to solve the whole goddamn thing. It's like, no, like if you want people that are going to be productive, functional citizens that don't commit crime, pay their taxes, are entrepreneurial, that do the job, that don't complain, that do well, that advance to the next class, that go from working class to middle class or even wealthy in a single lifetime, East Asians blow every other fucking demographic out of the goddamn water. And they're not white. So it's the whole idea of white ethnocentrism is any kind of fucking argument. It is demonstrably not true. Why isn't another European nation that is dominating the world in terms of everything? Our main competitor in terms of hegemonic power in the world is not some other white nation. It's China. It's what I can't understand is like whites are just the best at everything. And yet it's like half of Europe's holding on. And a lot of nations that are also very white are also just holding on. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I saw the picture of Obama when he met what's his face Farrakhan in 2005. I didn't know that the reporter allegedly sat on the pictures. I mean, I would honestly understand why he'd do it because what's his face Farrakhan is a fucking lunatic. Grade A, like, bigot and lunatic. So yeah, I mean that would be my thing. Is that if somebody paid $1,000 and I talked to fucking Richard Spencer, I'd just be like, listen, you, Jared Taylor, and half your goddamn crew are all fucking fanboys of Japan, and yet it's like if you bring in East Asians into the United States and if they form enclaves, it's going to become bad. But if you actually integrate people, then they're going to outperform whites. They're going to outperform everybody. So, like, it's not white identity that is the determinate factor of who does well or what the fuck ever, who's the purest mind or who's the most productive or whatever fucking gradient you're trying to say that whiteness is this great thing when people that are very much not white, very much not Christian, very much not Western can outperform those in the West if put in the better circumstances. If given the opportunity to perform, they perform better than people here. It's not an absolute factor, but the thing is that I'm not the person talking in racial absolutes. It's them. Goddamn, why is it that I spend every goddamn waking moment of my life investigating whites for fucking fraud? If it's the niggers that are the problem. That's the thing. I don't know what to say to these people. All right, let me get one more question and then we'll end this. Oh God, who would you want to see Trump face in 2020? I have no idea. I at this point, maybe at some point I can actually say who I'd like to see or whatever, like my dream team of like who the fuck would run, but uh, I have no idea. The better question would who'd be able to beat Trump? That to me is a greater question. Who would actually be able to pull off beating Trump? Because there really ain't too many fucking people at this point that can do it. Because I can name some few, but they aren't in the position to do it. Oh my God, Kem Seenan at 4209. Niggers are too dumb to commit fraud. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. It's not true, by the way. I've investigated bona fide criminals that were black that were committing fraud too. So there definitely are some fucking legit bad black people that are out there committing fraud. It's not hard to commit fraud, by the way. It's not hard. Easy to get caught too, by the way. Most people aren't slick enough to not get caught. I don't know if I should just end it there because oh Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about the fact I was going to talk about the drive-by. I guess I'll end on the drive-by. So what happened is, for those of you unaware, I'm trying to remember what day this happened to me. Let me check Twitter. Unfortunately, we've lost a decent amount of people for me to even talk about this. But a few days ago, I was doing a surveillance in Buffalo, and everything was really calm. I was there for hours. Nothing was going on. I thought it was going to be another day where I would just sit there. This guy wasn't going to go anywhere and nothing would happen. And let me find that post. Unfortunately, I tweeted a lot in the last couple of days, so I got to find it. Wasn't it before or after my last lewd set? I think it was after, but let me look. That was before lewds. Okay, it was on the 20th. So on January 20th, I was in Buffalo, and I was just waiting for something to happen, just sitting there bored. I don't remember what I was doing. I think I was like sending something to somebody on my phone on Skype, and all of a sudden, two cars turned from an adjacent road onto the road that I was on, and they started heading towards me. And it was two cars. It was a black Pontiac and a which was the car behind, and the car in the front was a Chrysler. So they were heading right at me, and they were way down the street. And I started hearing like pop, 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 pop. And I'm like, what the fuck is that popping? And I stopped what I was doing and I looked at the cars, and they're like weaving back and forth on the road. I'm like, what the fuck? And then as I kept hearing the popping, I was like, holy shit, these guys are shooting at each other. Holy shit. So I fucking ducked down in my seat, and the fucking cars go whizzing past me. And I was so afraid that the guy in the front in the silver Chrysler was going to hit me, like just crash into me, and I was going to fucking die. And but thankfully they passed by me and they kept shooting the whole way, the whole length of the goddamn street. They were firing, and they must have fired close to 24 shots. It was incredible. It was pistols, I'm pretty sure. And what I believe I saw, I'm not 100% sure this is what happened, but what I believe I saw was the car behind it, the black Pontiac. There was a passenger, and he was leaning out the passenger side window, like basically partially with his hand like over the windshield a little bit, his right hand over the windshield, holding a pistol, firing into the back of the silver Chrysler. And what I believe I saw was a person in the back seat, passenger side of the Chrysler, shooting out the back, not the back window, but out the window. His arm outside the window, shooting back at the black Pontiac, and that's why there were so many shots. So they were all black, by the way. So yeah, it was very scary, very close call for me, and probably I don't know if I was more scared during that moment because it was so quick than a few other moments I've likely talked about in the past where I've had close calls. But that was probably the closest I came to getting shot. That was probably the closest. Because these guys were not exactly very good at aiming as they were cocking their hand out of windows while going 50 miles an hour down a street while the cars were weaving back and forth. I'm pretty sure it's very easy to have a stray shot go through my fucking windshield and murder me. So, yeah, that was very close in terms of, dying. The cops showed up a couple minutes later. They weren't there's a precinct only a street away or so. It wasn't very far away. And six cop cars full of cops came flying in, looked around, had the residents check on their neighbors, see if anyone got hurt. They're asking what happened. And they just looked around for 10 minutes, talked to one another, and just took off. And it's likely because I don't think they caught him. I didn't hear about anything in the newspaper or in the news. There's been a bunch of shootings in Buffalo since then. They arrested some guy who had like a fucking sawed-off shotgun shooting into a fucking car. It was like, okay, there's a guy shooting into a car, so let's just arrest him. So there's been a bunch of shootings in Buffalo, and they've all been weird and crazy like that. Car chases, people fucking just emptying rounds into parked cars for no fucking reason. There's been a lot of crazy shit going on in Buffalo. This year in Buffalo has been really bad. And I'm pretty sure this is the next time around when the mayor goes up for re-election. If things don't change, this is probably going to be one of the main things, is that he's probably going to be questioned on it, because it's getting really, really noticeable when every day in the news you're seeing a new shooting, a new murder, a new crazy shootout, another guy arrested or being arraigned for some crazy shooting that happened. Like, it's getting out of control, and they need to start cracking down. Need to start kicking in some doors, making arrests, shit like that to calm it down, because it really is starting to get out of control in Buffalo. By the way, and to those of you that are downstate, keep your religion of peace down there. We don't need any we don't need any Muslims up here. All right, we're good on violence. We don't need any more. Please keep the Muslims in New York City. That's a video I haven't really gotten to yet, but I have wanted to. Buffalo is not the new Chicago. It is nowhere near the shooting and murder rate to be anywhere close to Chicago, let alone places like, I think, Baltimore and shit. Go look up the crime statistics for Baltimore. Holy shit, man. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I guess we'll end it there. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. I'm glad there was a good turnout tonight, despite the other streams. And I hope this was mildly entertaining for all of you. Thanks to those that gave me super chats and all that shit, and I'll try to do my best to see if we can do something else like this in the near future, and except for have some guests. I wanted to have some guests today, didn't work out, but I'll try to get some more guests in the future. Thanks for stopping by. Be sure to follow the links in the description, support my channel, support me on Maker Support and Patreon, buy some shit from my affiliate links and all that good shit. Thank you.